Yeah, you see me, ready, head down, caught in action, ready to fulfill my duties as the flower girl, one of the flower girls to my godmother's wedding. I had to be, I don't even know how young, but I was so serious about my duties. This was the first time that I cried at a wedding, witnessing love. Also, my first time saying, "Ooh, you so nasty" to the bride and the groom. Ready. But as you can see here, this started my journey with weddings. Yes, I am Latoya Chambliss, and I am 11 times a bridesmaid. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Toya, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video will be a little bit different. We're gonna sit down, have a little chit chat about a really, really good topic. I don't know if y'all saw this intro, but I literally have been in 11 weddings as either a bridesmaid, maid of honor. I've also hosted weddings or was a host in a few weddings as well. So literally, I am the 27 dresses woman, okay? So I thought today would be a good opportunity to talk about all things wedding and not in your typical way. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, make sure that you subscribe so that you are up on all the new videos that are dropping on the channel. Today's video is going to be super fun. I enjoy talking about my experiences a lot, so this is one of those areas in which I feel like I am pretty knowledgeable. If you haven't ever been in a wedding, if you've been in a few, if you are an upcoming bride, this is the video for you, because we're going to take all of those perspectives. I'm going to share my experiences, tell about what I learned, and also give you that real. Okay, so stay tuned. I think we should start this thing off, first things first, talking about the weddings that I was in. I gotta show y'all, and I'll be showing you guys pictures of all of the weddings that I have been in, and I have pictures for each and every wedding. Okay, so if you're going to be a bridesmaid for the first time, these are just some of the things that, for me, because I've been in 11 of these weddings, some great advice just to provide great perspective. I don't remember a time where I wasn't in a wedding. Ever since, if you saw that intro, ever since I was a little girl, like I started being a flower girl, worked my way up to, I think I was a junior bridesmaid for a wedding as well. And then I graduated to the bridesmaid and made it to maid of honor and things of that nature, right? So I am not a married woman, never have been married. So I have not made it to the bride stage, but I have some great advice for brides as well, coming from the perspective of a bridesmaid or a maid of honor. Y'all already see what time it is with all of the weddings, right? So one of the things that, if this is your first time being in a wedding, or hey, you've been in one wedding, all weddings are not the same. We'll start there. One thing that you have to understand is this is a real commitment, right? Financial responsibility is typically pretty great, right? So there's a financial commitment, there's a commitment for your time, as well as commitment for your energy, and I'll explain. So I would say each of my dresses ranged from either about $120 up into high $300 range, okay? So yes, it depends on the bride and what the theme of the wedding is, and the bride's contribution to her wedding party, and the groom as well, their contribution to the wedding party, because sometimes bride and grooms, they opt to provide like a percentage to their wedding party. Hey, cool. But just understand and know when you say yes, this is not just a simple thing. This is your time, this is your energy, and this is your money. So before you agree to make a commitment, because it is a commitment to this bride and the groom, especially to whomever the party is that you're in, it's a true commitment. And it's nothing wrong if you do opt to say yes, but just know what type of commitment it is. And depending on the person, the level of commitment may be greater, okay? Now, on top of those things, you know that there is typically going to be a bachelorette party. There's also going to be a bridal party, and then there's going to be a wedding, okay? That's three big major events typically throughout the process, and hopefully you have a year to prepare for this, right? If the bride is planning and it's not something that's a little last minute, you'll have at least a year to 2 years. 2 years is great, okay? Because you can budget that money and save, okay? Time needs to be on your side when you make these commitments. Depending on where you are financially in life, it is an investment. It's a real investment. And a lot of times when you're good friends with someone and you really love someone, you'll say yes out of just a pure love for that person and like, hey, yes, I'm gonna do it. And then not think about all of the things that you may have going on in your life that can take away from you fully being able to show up in the way that you would like, or the way that, you know, for that bride. So just understand those things, right? So with those three major events, before you even get to the wedding, okay, just know the bachelorette party, sometimes you're gonna be going international flights, right? So you might have to have a passport. You're going to have clothes to wear. You're going to usually have themes. There's going to be activities. This is money. So depending on where the trip is, I can't really give an approximation, but I attended a bachelorette party for each and every single bride, okay? Some of them were local. Most of them I had to travel, okay? Depending on if the wedding is in the city that you are in, it's great, right? But typically, if not, that is another thing financially that you have to remember. Hey, I'm going to have to travel either by car, that's gas, or I'm going to fly to get and attend the wedding. Okay, so that's more cost there. These are all the things that you want to keep in mind because it's gonna add up. Okay, so bachelorette, you got those things. Bridal party, if you opt to go, most of the time they want their bridal party there to actually host the bridal party. So depending on if you live in that city, you may have to travel. Typically, there's a theme and you wear a certain color there as well. So hey, here we go, more and more funds. It's the wedding weekend, right? You have to travel to get there, and there might be some activities that you guys are doing the day before. So just understand there. And then on the wedding day, these costs that you probably have been paying through the year are going to be your hair, your makeup, okay? And whatever else that is needed to prepare for the day. And that's going to be included in a bridal package, which is not going to be your typical fees. Okay, it's gonna be anywhere upwards to maybe $100+ for just the beat, because the beat is real. And then hopefully you have a great makeup artist, because that's not always the case, but that is just for the beat. And then the hair, probably you're gonna have to buy hair depending on the style, because the bride typically wants everybody to have a certain hairstyle. So that's purchasing the hair as well as getting it styled. Okay, so those are the financial commitments that you are looking at. It can be done. I definitely think it should be budgeted each month. If hopefully you have great people that are taking lead, like the maid of honor or the matron, who maybe provides a breakdown of all the costs. You guys have great meetings, great communication. Everything is up front. There is time to make those payments as well along the way, so that, hey, you can meet the deadlines, but it's also not a strain to you in whatever situation you have. So yes, those are some of those commitments that initially you just have to look at and say, hey, is this really the time for me? And am I able to fulfill these commitments? I think those are great questions to ask yourself before saying yes to being in someone's wedding. And I say that because I think that 11 weddings is a lot through the years. And it's a lot of financial responsibility. And some of those times, because I thought that, hey, I love this person in this way and this is how I show my love should have went to myself and being honest in my situation and saying, hey, I would show up and be my best self if I could just be a guest at this wedding. I love you no less, but I'm not in the space right now, whether that was financially or just energetically, to take on this, because for me, I fully took it on. I'm talking about fully took it on. I'm going to represent, and I think that's why a lot of people are confident in asking different people, because it's like, how does this person show up in my life? This is what I need for my wedding. You know what I mean? But be fair and honest with yourself and say, and judge if you're in the space financially, energetically, to say yes to that commitment. Okay? Okay, so we know we have to commit, right? So another thing to expect, right? Understand that it's not just you, right? It's also not about you in this moment. So I say that because in my experiences, there have been several situations where people have made the bridal experience solely about them and what they're not going to do and what they don't want to do and what only works for them. Now, earlier I mentioned that level of commitment, and this is so important because when you're committing to being in a person's, being a part of that person's big day, this is a part of that, right? Understanding how you are able to show up as your best self, be a positive source of love for that bride and that groom throughout that process, and also maintain your own happiness as well, right? And understand, like, what is the goal? What is my purpose in all of this? And if you stay focused on that, then you're able to be your best self, still be happy for someone else who might be getting a lot of attention. So I saw in certain situations where people were not as grounded in themselves and made it about them sometimes. I think I've experienced that in my own right as well, being a part of the bridal party and really having to check myself as well and make sure I understand, hey, why are you doing some of these things? Is this about you, or is it about the person that you're supposed to be doing it for? So I say that to say, if you are not completely grounded and unable to be around a lot of women who also love someone else and this is their moment, they might go through a lot of different emotions. They might have highs and lows throughout the process, but are you able to show up, love on them, and not make things solely about yourself? Because that typically turns into a negative experience for those around. And it's so obvious as well, but it's not about you. Remember that. If you're saying yes, you're committed to this person, this love that you have for this person, and being your best self in it as well. Okay? So that's something else to expect. There also is a space you're going into where you might not know any of the bridesmaids, or you might know some people, but you also never know people until you work in intimate spaces with them and you see how they act and react and show up and what they say. And it's going to be very important for you to remain focused on yourself. Remain grounded in who you are so that you're not being swayed, because that can really throw off your experience. People are definitely people. This is not the opportunity for you to come in and change people, but it's definitely an opportunity for you to observe and kind of fill in the holes where you see needed, because one person can't do it all. You're gonna need to come together with that entire bridal party for the love of this bride or the groom or whomever it is. In my experience as a bridesmaid, maid of honor, and also I've worked and planned weddings as well. Weddings are already high intensity usually. There's a lot of anxiety. People are nervous because a lot of people don't like attention in those ways. So all of these things are coming in. There might be a lot of projection. So you have to be ready to be surrounded by many of these different things, right? So just be prepared to become one with a group of people who you might not even be friends with, okay? Typically, it can be so fun. Like, when I tell you so freaking fun, like, when it comes together in a beautiful way and everybody is for that person and wanting to make sure that things go off in a great way, it always feels so good. You always connect with people and you'll never forget that experience, okay? Why did I agree to being in so many weddings? Honestly, when I look at myself, I think it was just a part of my people pleasing, which is okay. I don't regret being, well, maybe one that I do. But also it's my own fault for saying yes and putting myself in those positions. What I did, I was able to take pieces from all of those weddings. I remember one year, I was in 3 or 4 weddings at one time. No lie. I don't know how the fuck I did it, but when I say where I am today, I am wore out from being a part of wedding parties just because it's been so many. Literally was a part of like three or 4 weddings within a year's span. So that is 3 or 4 dresses, 3 or 4 bridal showers and bachelorette parties, and my energy. And I think that was a big thing. It's like, this is how I show my love. I'm used to showing up in a major way. And I said yes, committing to all these things, and I didn't commit to myself. And that's a whole nother story. That's why I said, make sure you committed, okay? But yeah, so just being a people pleaser and not being able to fully look at things from just a grander view and be like, hey, this might not be the time. Hey, financially, this is not a good decision if you're trying to do X, Y, and Z. And not realizing at the time, because I was so much in the moment, just how much of a financial investment each of those weddings were. You know what I mean? So yeah, one of the things that I want to say though, bridesmaid, whatever the bride wants to do, cool. Have a ball at that bachelorette party though. That is typically where everybody comes the fuck together, and be creative. Understand who it is for, right? Don't just put out the stuff that y'all want to do in it. Yes, it matters, and we want it to be a well-rounded event, but know the bride and do what the bride would want, but also push the bride just a little bit out of their comfort zone, because this is the time to shower that person with love. Wow, the fuck out at the freaking bachelorette party. Live life. Listen, typically my voice is gone, I'm getting bruises, the bride is done for. Also throw in some therapeutic time, maybe some time to like talk through some things, share your love for that person. You know, find little cute gifts that she'll always remember, record, make memories. If she wants to do some spa things, incorporate that in. If she don't want a stripper, do not get her a motherfucking stripper. If she don't want a stripper, do not get her a motherfucking stripper, because it's going to turn. But make sure to listen to the bride. Listen to those people, because all of you together are typically the closest to that person at the time. So get together, talk through it, compromise. You know what I'm saying? Learn more about each other and the bride, and just have a great, great time. This is for my brides. Just from, hopefully you are tuned in as well, just from the perspective of those who are in your party. I think on your end, make sure that, because it is a commitment on both sides, that you are committed to doing this process with the people that you choose. You don't owe it to anybody just to choose them just because you've been friends for 30 plus years. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be a part of your wedding, and they could be a part of wedding party activities, but not necessarily in that space of being in the party. It is okay. Usually during this time, this is a time where you might lose a few people in the wedding party as well, because you realize that maybe it wasn't the best decision for you. Maybe there's some conflict that grows, because this typically happens, especially with women. Just be sure of the decisions that you are making for the people that you want to go on this journey with. Very, very important. And choose wisely. Choose wisely. Choose people that are going to show up, that are grounded, who are empathetic, people who are able to take lead over certain things, people who aren't afraid to be honest with you during that process, people who also don't have a problem with serving, because that is a part of that role. Whether you want to or not, you are in service to this person who is getting ready to make another commitment to their partner. So look at those things and put people in places that enhance your experience, and make it a fun experience for you. Please make sure that you are, throughout the process, check in with yourself throughout the process, and with your bridesmaids and your maid of honor and your matron of honor, and just make sure that you aren't projecting what you may be experiencing in the planning onto that party as well. If you are able to contribute in ways and help out financially, make that a thing. Make that a gift to your party if you're able to. Whatever ways you are able to support, but also relinquish control, because these people that you shared your visions, you shared your ideas, they know you, so you have to trust. And that's why decisions and choices are important. These are people that you want to trust, that will implement the vision with love, and they're gonna rally behind you, and you're gonna feel supported. It's nothing worse than seeing brides who don't feel supported by their entire party and feel like they made bad decisions. Make sure whoever is your sound, your voice of reason, that they are logical, they are empathetic, and they also understand what's going on with the party, right? I think one of the big areas is that financial responsibility. Everybody has different situations. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, and what works for one person might not work for the other, and that, hey, maybe that bride or that person might be unable. But if there is a way that things can be worked out so that that person can be there because the bride wants them, try to figure it out. And hopefully you've chosen some great people who can implement that as well, right? I had to change the brightness. It's gonna look totally different from my other videos, whatever. I hope this was very informative for you on what to expect being in a wedding, understanding the commitments that you're going to take on. Hopefully brides can see also too some of the perspectives from those people in the parties and kind of what to expect as well. But overall, weddings can be a beautiful thing. I'm grateful that I was able to experience. Right now I am also in the place where, hey, I would love to be a guest unless it's a certain wedding where I just, I'm going to be there and have to be in it. But right now, I love being a wedding guest, baby. It's so fun. I like to get really tipsy, feel good, eat the great food, dance, and show love in that way. And I get to dress up and I get to leave. Because, baby, let me tell you, the energy that it takes to get through a wedding weekend, you're up at the crack of dawn, getting makeup, getting hair, it's no sleep. Then you gotta go be beautiful, stand up there, have the ceremony, go take all them fucking pictures, then come to the reception, dance, make friends. It's no joke, honey. It's no joke. And everybody that's been in a wedding, if you know, you know. Comment down below if y'all agree with me, or just give some advice for people who may not have been in a wedding, who's getting ready to get into a wedding. Whatever your experience as a bridesmaid has been, or a groomsman, share down below so we can help the community and everybody can kind of know what to expect and if they need to say yes or no to the dress. Okay, and as y'all can see, I have 11 of these motherfuckers. What I'm gonna do with them, baby, I need to get them tailored and rewear them, because clearly so many dresses. But again, this has been my experience. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you in the next vlog for Vlogmas. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll check in later.